your beginning of the week with Holy Embodied. All of those inputs are meant to give you sort of a connected, grounded, comfortable start into the new week. And today we're doing one of the most simple things ever, I guess, but it's so good. And what we're doing is we're laying on our backs, we're laying on the floor just to connect to that ground. And you can use a folded blanket or a pillow to support your head. Maybe if you are on your back, and let me not screw up my microphone, and your lower back isn't okay with you straightening your legs, you can use, if you own such a thing, you can use a bolster like that, or you just take a couple of sofa cushions so that your lower back is not getting angry with you. And that's not it. Hang on with me. And you can let your arms rest out to the sides of the body. And I like to really lay on the floor for that, as close to the ground, as close to the earth as I can get. So if you have a garden that you can go out and lay down on your back there, that's even better. I feel like the closer to earth, the closer to ground, the better. And the thing is, just laying here or laying there and thinking about 1,000 things and planning the next 700 steps, as you can imagine, that's not gonna be very beneficial. But I'll guide you through a short thing to really get that benefit of laying on the floor, laying on your back. So as you're getting really comfortable there, allowing for your head to find its comfortable position on the floor, on that blanket, on that cushion. Maybe adjust your feet, adjust your shoulder blades, closing your eyes just to take one sense away that might distract us, all the things that move, all the play of light and shadow. Right. And then as you're laying there, it's okay if there's a lot going on in your mind right now. A lot of voices talking you through the day, through the week, all the shoulds and stuff to do. That doesn't need to change, but imagine you could bring your awareness as if it was sort of a spotlight to your heels. The heels of your feet as they touch the floor. And just for now, just for this moment, your heels as they touch the floor are all that matters. Bring that spotlight to the sensations of your heels touching the floor and feel the weight of your feet through the heels. And get that sensation that your feet are not holding themselves, they're being held by the floor. And that's exactly the whole point of this, recognizing that the body doesn't need to hold itself, it is held by the ground. And maybe as your heels are resting on the floor for real, there's a sense of a bit of a relaxation throughout the whole foot, the back of your foot, the toes, maybe even your toenails. All those little tiny muscles and bones in the back of your foot. Great. Your feet are melting, dripping into the floor, being held by the ground. And then we bring that spotlight up to the pelvis. And it's okay if there's thoughts popping up, wanting to pull awareness away from the pelvis, from the sensations in the body. But you can always make the choice again to return, to come back to the sensations in your body, to the sensation in your pelvis right now, as it is laying on the floor, resting on the floor. Your sacrum. And again, feel the weight sinking into the floor, into the ground. Especially those last few vertebrae fused into that pelvic bone, right above the tailbone, the very end of your spine. Let it all sort of exhale into the floor. Give the weight to the floor, let it be held. As it is, it doesn't need to change, we don't have to do anything. It's that effortless, soft awareness, simply observing or witnessing that softening in your pelvis as it is allowed to rest on the floor for real. And maybe you can feel how relaxing the back of your body, the back of your pelvis like that, also allows for some softening and relaxation in your hip joints, in your lower belly, and in all the organs in that room, in that sort of bowl of the pelvis, of that pelvic bone, as if it was a bowl and everything is, and there's all these organs in there. Maybe it feels like they get the space they want. Maybe it feels like they get a bit more space, as if they could unfold, unravel, breathe. Maybe already you can feel that sense of connecting in to the ground. A sense of softening and comfort, really, by being held by the floor. And then we bring that awareness further up to the shoulder blades, that spotlight that's just so incredibly interested in what it feels like in those shoulder blades right now. So interested, so fascinated, like, wow, I have shoulder blades. As if this was the first time ever you were noticing them laying on the floor. And maybe you imagine or you feel as if there was a hand left and right on each shoulder blade holding them, allowing for them to soften even more towards the floor, and giving the whole weight into the floor. That relaxation of the grip in the cells and the muscles and the tissue, that grip that comes from being so convinced it all has to hold itself, but it doesn't. The floor is holding it. The floor is holding us. Letting the weight of the shoulder blades drip, sink into the ground. And also the vertebrae in between the shoulder blades. Let them soften towards the floor just a tiny bit. Like nothing has to change. It's just that invitation of, oh baby, maybe you don't want to hold on so tight. It's so soft, it's so tender and gentle, right? And as the shoulder blades relax into the floor, as you give the weight to the floor, There might be a softening of the whole chest cavity, of your sternum, of your collarbones, all the ribs in your heart area. And feel how incredibly comfortable that is. It's okay if there's a lot of blah, 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 blah going on in your mind, but even felt a little bit that softening, that exhale of letting the ground hold you is so soothing, so comfortable. You can't miss it. How could you miss it? Because it's such a difference from what we used to, right? And then ultimately bring your awareness to the back of your head. Maybe again you imagine or you feel as if the back of your head was held by hands, by loving hands, and you can just give your whole skull, the weight of your whole skull into those hands, knowing they're holding you, knowing how safe it is to do so. Maybe you can feel how resting your skull on the floor for real is softening the spine in your neck as well. And giving the back of your head into the floor allows for the whole inside of your skull to soften as well. For your brain. As if that brain would relax back towards the back of the body. The brain, the temple area. Behind your forehead. There's often that cloud of concentration, trying to figure out life. It's not really capable of doing so, it's trying really hard. So let that relax back as well. Behind your eyebrows, behind your eyeballs, your cheeks, and the whole jaw. Nothing has to let go. But it might be really easy to just relax a teeny tiny little bit, especially in the face. Like there's often a sort of a leaning forward sensation in the face. Relax it back a bit. Lean towards the floor, lean towards the ground. And then feel your whole body as it is laying on the floor. Your whole body being held, being supported by the ground. It's held. It's safe. It does not need to hold itself. It does not need to make sure it's safe. Maybe you can feel there's something much bigger than that doing it. Whether you want to call that life, source, God, doesn't matter. So maybe every time you feel overwhelmed, stressed out, anxious, tight, or just a little tense, maybe lay on the floor, play this video and see what changes. And you're welcome to stay there for as long as you want to. It's a great thing to practice before bed, just to give your system that break, that opportunity to change from the do, keep going of your day to a more restful state, to a more relaxing state. And just witness what's happening. And Either you roll straight into your bed or you start to reorient towards the details of the moment. Starting to hear the sounds that are here. Sounds coming in from outside of the room, but also all the sounds in your house, in your room. And the body as it is laying here, and your very own breath. And maybe you breathe a couple of times a bit deeper. Start to roll your head from side to side. Yawn or make circles with your jaw. And make that transition from basically being a big puddle on the floor to the next moment. Make that transition slow and conscious. So maybe you turn to one side and then push yourself back up to a seated position. Opening your eyes again and just taking in the colors and the light in your room. And then you go see about your day from here.